Hello everyone! I'm going to present and talk about children's literature and its developments in my home country, the Philippines. I am Zara Gagatiga and you can view my PowerPoint in my blog. This is the URL or the blog address, http lovelibrarian.blogspot.com. So let's start. The third Tuesday of July is National Children's Book Day in the Philippines. We also call it NCBD. The Philippine Board on Books for Young People spearheads the celebration. The NCBD is our homage to Jose Rizal and his efforts in translating and retelling The Monkey and the Tortoise, a classic tale by Hans Christian Andersen. It was in July 1889 when The Monkey and the Tortoise was published in Trubner's Oriental Record in London. This year, our theme for NCBD is Bumasa at Lumaya. In English, it means read and take flight. During the NCBD, the PBBY awards the Salanga Writers Prize and the Alcala Illustrators Prize. These awards are for the manuscript of a story for children and the accompanying artwork or illustration for the story. This year, the winners of the Salanga Writers Prize is Mr. Genaro Goho Cruz for his story Makinang Makinang. It is about a seamstress and her children who survived World War II. The illustrator who won the Alcala Illustrators Prize is Mark Lawrence Andres. Please visit the PBBY website for more information on the Salanga Writers Prize and Alcala Prize. The PBBY, in cooperation with the National Book Development Board, awarded the National Children's Book Award and the Kids' Choice Award during the NCBD last July. So other than the Salanga Writers Prize and the Alcala Illustrators Prize, we also had two awards, the National Children's Book Award and the Kids' Choice Award. If the Salanga Prize and the Illustrators Prize are awards for manuscripts and artworks that are soon to be made into books, the NCBA and the Kids' Choice Awards are awards for published books for children already. I'm proud to share with you the winners of the NCBA 2016. Tumaan si Butiki is about a child's fascination on the lizard that lives in the ceiling of their house. Mang Andoy's signs about a child's inquisitiveness and her loving relationship with her grandfather. Halo Halo is a board book about halo halo, a Filipino sweet delicacy which can also pass for a good dessert. Salo-Salo para kay Kuya is a family story about life and death. Supremo is the story of grade school children learning about friendships in their school environment. Jano Silang is a young adult fiction about a teenager who loves playing online games and discovered that he has powers to fight off monsters and mythical creatures. The Kids' Choice Award for this year happens to be a story of Miss Rosel Ambubuyog. This is her biography. Made Perfect in Weakness is the title of the book. It tells about her struggles on how she became a successful scientist despite her blindness. Last year, in 2015, the Filipino Reader's Choice Awards was granted to a children's book, a young adult novel, and a graphic novel. The Filipino Reader's Choice Award was conducted by Filipino bloggers who every year set up the Filipino ReaderCon. This was an award that is conducted online, voted online, with Filipino readers and bloggers as the judges of each category. Indeed, something is moving and growing in the Philippine children's industry. Every year, publishers are happy to launch around 50 to 70 titles of books. During the Manila International Book Fair and the National Children's Book Fair, many teachers, parents, and librarians would visit the fairs and buy books from the different publishers who set up display booths so that their books can be read by children. Not only are these books read by parents and their kids at home or in school, where teachers conduct read aloud and storytelling sessions in the classroom. These picture books are also used as springboards to create stories and self-made books. In one of my workshops last year, teachers and librarians read picture books. After reading the storybooks and the picture books, they were able to make their own books using paper, their imagination, colorful pencils, pen, and a story that means a lot to them. So, picture books and storybooks in the Philippines has grown a long way. In fact, the 50 to 70 picture books produced every year does not really meet the many readers who are thirsty for stories, craving for books to read. So teachers in the public schools are being trained to create their own instructional materials, and writing and drawing picture books for their students is one of the activities. Picture books and storybooks are also very popular in the Philippines because they can cross platforms to other media and performance art. For example, Alamat ng Ampalaya is a children's storybook, but it was converted into a musical last year. Isang Harding Papel won the children's book category in the Filipino Reader's Choice Awards, and it will be soon performed as a musical on October 29. Isang Harding Papel is a story of a girl living during the martial law years. On TV, a new children's show, Oyayi, meaning lullaby, will be premiering in a national TV network. This is a project of the National Commission for Children's Television. In the online environment, one can find children's stories by Filipino creatives as well. And these stories are available for free. One example is Canvas. Canvas is a non-government organization that promotes the artistic creativity of the Filipino. Sari Sari Storybooks has the same goals just like Canvas, but this Kickstarter focuses on children's stories in the different mother tongue found in the Philippines. Now, how did we get to where we are? Here are highlights and notable developments in Philippine children's literature. Allow me to share with you the path taken by those who paved the road for the growth of our literature. So stories are as old as time, and before the Philippines was colonized by Spain, there already exists a rich array of epics, poetry, and folk tales of different tribes and indigenous groups. The Ilocanos have their tale of Lamang, who has magical powers. The Suludnon tribes of Panay in Iloilo in the Visayas region has the Hinilawod, an epic that tells about the creation of the world. In the epic myth, you have the god Tungkong Langit and the goddess Alinsuna who were both responsible for the creation of the universe. In the Bicol region, they have the Ibalon. It is an epic myth about three warriors who fought creatures and monsters, one of which is Oriol, a creature that is half woman, half snake. And in Mindanao, one famous epic tale is that of the Sari Manok, a mythical bird that brings good luck and good fortune to anyone who encounters it. In my book, Tales from the 7,000 Isles, Filipino Folk Stories, you will find their legends, folk tales, porkwa tales, rhymes and riddles, songs and games taken from the different provinces of the 13 regions of the Philippines. These stories were taken from folklorists, anthropologists that reflect the diversity of the Philippines. The stories taken from them are reflective of the richness of our culture, history, and art. Truly, we have a legacy to impart to our children. During the Spanish colonial period, the reading materials published during the time were Book of Prayers, metrical romance, influenced by European literature. There is the Doctrina Christiana. It is the oldest book printed and it can be found in the archives of the University of Santo Tomas. There's the Florante at Laura and the Ibong Adarna, as told in Filipino but reflects a very European influence, particularly in its settings and descriptions of characters. Florante at Laura, Ibong Adarna are still being taught and read in many Filipino classes in the Philippines today. It was during the U.S. colonial time when Jose Rizal's The Monkey and the Tortoise found publication as an illustrated picture book. Using original drawings by Jose Rizal, Austin Craig succeeded in putting together this book by our national hero. It was in 1912 when this book was put forth. The original copy by Craig is in the archives of the National Library of the Philippines. It was also during the U.S. colonial time when textbooks were introduced in the school system. The Philippine Readers by Camilo Osias was the perfect example. It contains stories, poems, and rhymes that has values from Philippine folklore and legends. But nonetheless, it has a strong selection of American stories. It was in the post-war period when publishing houses came to rise in the Greater Manila area. After the war, the nation rebuilt itself, not only in economic and political or social infrastructures, but also in thought, in education, and in ways of creating art and literature. From the 70s to the present time, the government and non-government organizations set up institutions to continuously develop books for children and the literature that everyone, not just kids, but parents and teachers will enjoy. Despite the challenges in economic, political, and social crisis, the Philippines during that time tried its best to churn out books for children that they will enjoy. There was the Children's Communication Center, who published books about nutrition. The Children's Literature Association of the Philippines was also organized to chronicle and document publications for children, helping teachers and librarians use children's books in the classrooms, in their libraries, helping parents use them as not just stories to tell moral lessons, but stories to learn about the world in expanding children's imagination and their worldviews. The Philippine Board on Books for Young People was established in 1982 and remains a force in children's literature in the Philippines. The National Book Development Board has always supported the Philippine publishing industry, particularly the development of children's book in the country. So where do we go from here? There are actually 6 publishing houses joining the National Book Development Board contingency in the Frankfurt Book Fair. They are attending the Global Publishing Summit, and 6 publishing houses of children's books, Adarna Books, Firetree Press, Tahanan, Lampara Books, OMF Literature, and Precious Pages are all eager to attend the book fair as well as the Global Publishing Summit. As for me, I am excited to find out what my friends from the publishing industry can give back to the community. As a librarian, the implication of all these developments would only mean that I can bring books closer to children and children closer to books as they learn to read, as they learn to write, as they learn to become good citizens of the country. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation, and I hope you'll be able to ask questions during our Skype chat. Thank you again.